It's really my pleasure and an honour to be invited here to be with you again tonight to introduce Sister Amina Asilmi to speak with you. Tonight we're going to have a recitation from the Quran to start the evening from Sister Bushra Rasul. She's 6 years old and she's the daughter of Sheikh Sibatullah Rasul. I knew I'd have trouble pronouncing that, but so if Sister Bushra would like to come and recite the Quran, inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لم يكن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين منفكين حتى تأتيهم البينة رسول من الله يتلو صحفا مطهرة فيها كتب قيمة وما تفرق الذين أوتوا الكتاب إلا من بعد ما جاءتهم البينة وما أمروا إلا ليعبدوا الله مخلصين له الدين حنفاء ويقيموا الصلاة ويؤتوا الزكاة وذلك دين القيمة إن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين في نار جهنم خالدين فيها أولئك هم شر البرية إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات أولئك هم خير البرية جزاؤهم عند ربهم جنات عدن تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه ذلك لمن خشي ربه
صدق الله العظيم.
You're all here because you've either heard Sister Amina Asilmi speak already or seen her videos or heard about her. She's so very well known, I hardly feel that I need to introduce her to you. But I'm going to anyway, in case there's some who don't already know her wonderful story. Sister Amina Asilmi first embraced Islam on the 21st of May 1977. She has degrees in education, recreation and broadcasting. She's the director of the International Union of Muslim Women and is on the advisory boards of several Islamic organisations, including the American Muslim Council, CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations, and Amica International, which puts out a children's magazine called Kaleidoscope. Sister Amina thinks her most important roles have been her roles as grandmother and mother, or should I say mother and grandmother, in that order. She has worked in many, many jobs because since her decision to wear the hijab, she's been denied employment in the job of her profession prior to her converting, which was in broadcasting. So they don't allow her to work in broadcasting, so she does many, many other things to help make ends meet. And she told me before we came up here tonight that she'd turned down 47 invitations to speak just during the month of November. So we understand that we're very lucky to have her with us tonight and very honoured that she's been able to accept our invitation. The last time I saw Sister Amina Asilmi, she was walking through a bazaar, and every 3 steps she was 14 and 15-year-old Muslim women running up and giving her big hugs, and you can just see the adoration that they have for her and the love that she has for them. And truly she has inspired not only the young American Muslim girls who are growing up in the non-Muslim environment, but many, many women who've come to Islam through seeing her videos. So we know that she's a very inspiring woman, and we ask Allah to bless her and her family. And I'd like to welcome her here on your behalf tonight. Assalamu alaikum.
Salamu alaikum. Well, a few of you I will say Jazakallah khair, because they returned better than what I gave, and this is the sunnah and the way we're supposed to do it. Now first I have to warn you, she introduced someone else. That's not me, okay? And what she saw at the ISNA convention is she hasn't been there very often. See, that's the massive hug fest, and all of the Muslim women are hugging each other every few steps. It's not just me. I mean, we go to the conventions to hug each other. I don't know what the brothers do, but the women go there to get their hugs. So that's not just me, that's everybody is being hugged, you know. I was asked to come here tonight and talk to you about what? You can't hear me? Okay, let's try bringing it a little bit closer. The true liberator of women. And I'll be glad to do that, but I have to make a small qualification in that Islam is not just the true liberator of women, Islam is the true liberator of humanity. And we can't talk about how Islam liberated women without talking about how Islam has liberated men, has liberated parents, children, grandparents, and all members of society. Because the rights of one is dependent upon the right of the other. And Islam is showing the balanced path. But we will begin with those issues relating to women's rights, and you will soon discover that there's no way to separate or divide the women's rights from men's rights, women's rights from family rights, women's rights from society's rights. And you'll see how totally interdependent we are. Over 1400 years ago, Allah delivered the Quran to Muhammad, son of Amina. This Quran was protected for all times, will never be corrupted in any way. This was the miracle of this Quran. And this Quran is here today for all of us to be able to read and to learn and to study and to grow and to improve. In this book that was given to us over 1400 years ago, through the Prophet who became our example, our clarifier, our explainer, we learned many things. Number one, that the man and the woman were equally responsible for the continuation of the human race, and that the role of the woman was every bit as important as the role of the man. And you cannot claim that one is more important than the other, because indeed without the two it cannot occur, except in those miracles where Allah has chosen, as in the case of Adam, Eve, and Isa. Allah did free the woman of responsibility for the original sin. There was a rumor floating around, you know, that all sin came from women, because after all it was Eve who gave that apple to Adam. And it was through Eve that all sin came into existence. Well, the Quran came and revealed to us that both sinned, both were tempted, both sinned, both repented, and both were forgiven. One was not held more responsible for that act than the other. But in another area of the Quran it speaks about the fact that on the day of judgment a man must answer for himself, his wife, and his children, while the wife answers only for herself and her children. So a man has a degree of responsibility stronger than that of the woman. We won't make any judgments on that, just something to think about.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق